Alright, there's a lot of steps for this one, and it might be a couple parts. Okay, so you're going to open your extra screen load where your screen flags are located, that script. And if you followed the overworld map tutorial, you'll notice that there's a game state check around line 72 or so. So you copy that part of the code until the after check to line 137 or so. So the code would be like game state check. Then if it is, you could switch the player. This is all the overworld stuff that we did. Okay. Right? So then after that, what you need to do is something similar to that. And you need a variable or two to know what character you're doing, or to move your cursor like the start screen thing. So what we're going to do is we're going to make a variable. You have to go into your user variables and make a variable called char select. So if you go here into user variables, go to the bottom, see char select, that's the one you make. Like this, spelled the exact same way. Underscore, lowercase char, capital S, and then the rest lowercase ect. Um, make sure you have that, set it to 0. What we're going to do is we're going to use 0 as our main character. The 1 will be our alternative character. Okay? So then in your selection input, you're going to want to make sure that you have you got your current script. So that's like starts in hard, starts in normal if you don't if your curse select is 0, it starts in normal. If your curse select is 1, it starts in hard. So we're going to have to like make sure that that's, if we're using curse selection as our variable on the character select screen, we're going to have to make sure that the curse selection only triggers this on this screen, on the start screen. Or it skips the this part if it's not on that screen. Basically, if it's on any other screen, it just skips it. So all right, so because we don't have any other options right now, we don't really need to change much. It's saying basically the same thing. Hard is 1 life, normal is the 3, that's the normal start. We still have these happen, and then we have the character select screen come after that. So we don't want to mess around with that. So that still happens. Then you go to the character select screen. And if you're like, say you pick a character on there, you don't want that to change, the how many lives you start with or whatever. So we would edit the part of the script where we are warping the character select screen and then using a different variable to select the character. So one, you do normally whatever the start screen is. If you want to edit this right now, you can, but your character select would be different on the title screen. My game's a little different. Like you could have like options on yours, or you could have something else. We can change all that later, but for now, it's just going to be normal and hard. And then it's going to warp to the character select screen. On that screen, you have two character portraits. We're going to have set side by side. Okay. And then you select the portrait similar to the start screen, but it moves from left to right instead of up or down. Instead of horizontal, instead of vertical, it's going horizontal this time. So it goes horizontal from left to right instead of going up or down like vertical. So we want that. We want it to go left to right to pick between the characters. And it's the only screen, so we don't need a variable for cursor location. We just put it in manual. If you had another screen that was like if you were using shop screens or you were using some kind of a menu of some sort, you need like a table of some sort to refer to. So you don't want to do that. This is just simple character select one time. It's one or the other. Okay, the variable character select can be used to move the cursor, but you'd have to write a lot more code. So for this, we're going to use that cur selection. We're just going to edit some stuff. So because we're doing two selections and not three or four, we're just going to use in a different game state for now. We can do that. We're going to use game state 4. That's going to be our character select screen. So when you go in here, you're going to go game state 4, 0, 1, 2, 3, 4. Yeah, I could just do that. Just to show anyway. Alright, so that would be 4. That's game state 4. So what we're going to do is we're going to have it load the game state compared to 4, and it's asking it if it's that character select screen. So my current script after editing it, that's the start screen. Now, if you're on the start screen, you do selector. If you're not on the start screen, you're going to check if you're on the character select screen. Alright, so then it goes here, your character select screen. It's checking. if it's on the character select, it is the character select screen. So if it is, then it does this. If it's not, it's not the start screen or the select screen. It could be like the main game screen or something. So it's doing all the stuff that I programmed in here. Here's the character select, start select. We're using the same cursor tile as we are on the start screen. You can use a different tile if you want to, but I chose to use the same tile. This is where you'd put the different tile. You could literally put down the number of the tile on your thing. Right now it's referencing right there. It's referencing that constant of 127. So you'd have that. Jumps to not start or select because it's bouncing to after the selector part. So it's doing all this, then it's just going and doing the normal stuff. It's skipping this part. This is the start screen. If you're on a start screen, it's going to do all this stuff. The normal selection position, the normal selection position. If you look at mine, I put these down. These are where the positions are. See the comparison? Now if you look on my screen 160, so the Y, the axis, you can check on my screen when I do this. It's going to warp to that thing. I put my tiles here and here because I wanted them to be on the opposite side of the screen. I'm just using tiles for my screen. I'm keeping it kind of basic. So when you warp, you're gonna start on the screen. This is the start screen. I know there's not really any graphics here right now. This is the start screen. You're gonna start here. And then this, after you pick normal or hard, it's gonna warp you here. Then this is your character select screen. There's gonna be a skull from the start screen. That's the icon on the main menu. Whatever your icon you're using will be. That'll be here. And then you'll have 0 and then 1. So char select will be 0, the default, and then 1 will be your alternate character. For me, I programmed in my alternate character to be object 1, named her Ann Helsing. My name character is Max Helsing. And I made the knife object number 2. So if you have scripts that create an object, you have to edit those. So what I had to do was just go really quick into my scripts. I'm only using one script that references my knife. That's shoot projectile ammo. You could do it right here really quick. So in your script right here, it'll have the number. I just changed that. It was 1. I changed that to 2. And then you just save it. Click that and you save it. That's all you have to do. Just because you just moved it from one to the other. You have to make sure to do that. So you make your other object. That would be your second alternate player, not your player 2, because this is a 1-player game. This is just your alternate player. Now you'll notice both my characters are similar. You'll notice that their bounding boxes are exactly the same. You'll notice, apologies, you'll notice the overworld characters. They have their animations. Their animations are essentially the same too. They're just, I created them at different times, so I labeled things slightly different. I didn't copy anything. Um, so in our scripts for the overworld, we're also going to have to change the what character it creates when you go to the overworld when you switch to that one based on your char select. If your char select is 1, it'll create object number um 14, which is E, 0E, and then 0F. It'll create if you're in the overworld normally. That's what we already had set up. So going back to this. Alright, so on the character select screen, it does all that, creates the cursor. Then if it's not the character select and it's the start screen, it does the start screen stuff. And then if it's not, it literally would just be the end of the script unless you add more pre-draws to it. So you can test this and you can see it manually place the tile and it moves right and then it resets back because it's using the cur select. So the max number is also the max that it's set to, which the max number for that is what we set up in here, selection max value. And in my notes, when we originally set this up, if you recall, I wrote down the number of options starting with 0 is the first option. So if you have 2 options, the value would be 1. If you have 3 options, the value would be 2. If you have 4 options, the value would be 3. Alright, so under the line end checking selection. Here, I'll bring up the file too.